Hello and welcome to the post-match review of the second year in a row with a 3-0 loss to Bournemouth at home. Painful. A very, very painful one up against a really well-coached Areola team. You know, top coach, he's had more time. Really, really, really well-coached side that Bournemouth is. And for United, probably the worst game. We've had a couple of bad games, but that one was really bad against Bournemouth for a few reasons. And it's something that we really need to talk about because, you know, obviously all of the discourse for the last week, 2 weeks, we've been talking about, you know, we've been talking about Rashford, we've been talking about this, we've been talking about that, about all these things that will solve the problems, you know, at United. And needing to hold really high standards and players on big wages needing to perform and all of that. And we need to have a serious discussion about Bruno Fernandes. We really do. I think today single-handedly probably cost us the game. And I think it's in big part, it's a really hard discussion to have with this because it's not like, okay, it's the only reason things went wrong today. So I want to explain that, and I want to show the numbers and stats and things to back it all up. It's kind of like it's really, really hard to explain the problem with it and what's been happening. But it was the same against Tottenham in the first half, and it's the same in other games as well. Yeah, we've been conceding a lot of goals from set pieces and from low expected goals. Again, today we did. 3 goals conceded from like 1 XG. We should have scored some too. But it's a matter of long-term how we want to play football for me. And when I look at it, you know, when I look at it, it's the type of thing that's going to have to be broken before it gets any better. You know, because the team for the last 6 years has been built on, 5 years really, built on Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, he's been in for 4, but even before him, under Ollie, we were starting to play more like we were playing transition football and all of that. It's been built around this transition football with Bruno as a focal point, with quick attacks, with rapid, with launching the ball, with low percentage, high volume attempts to score. We've seen under Amorim so far that's not what we want. We want settled possession, settled control. We want to get the ball into their half. We want to move our center backs all the way up so we can make the pitch really small and we can sustain attacks, pressure, and all of that. We know that's what we want. So we know that what we saw today wasn't what we want because that's not what we got today. We got a lot of rushing, a lot of low percentage, low efficiency actions. And the thing that's really hard and why I understand there's so much disagreement about this, but to me is a serious problem is the Bruno dynamic of this. Rashford's not in the squad. It's not his fault. We've performed shit against Tottenham and Bournemouth now, so he can't be put under that microscope. Now Bruno is your top earner, top player, leader of the team and captain, and needs to do just a lot more in order for us to do better. But he needs to do more and he needs to do less. If you watch us in attack, in the final third, in the first half, when we have possession and we're getting some control, it's the antithesis, his movement, of what you'd usually see from an Amorim team. He's not running into the box. He's drifting all over deep to get behind it. So we only have 1 or 2 guys in the box. So that we shoot these balls in and we're having our players compete. We're not winning any numbers battles. And only when we do we create our good chances. We make the chance where Dallo runs into the box and Ahmad runs by him and they make the pass and they cut it back. And then you have the late arrival and you get a shot which was missed. Those are the moments and the patterns that create wins. When Amorim came in, I said I expected us to get bad. at creating chances because we'd stop rushing it so much. And because we've been so reliant on these transitions. But it's a hard pattern to break because if you take that away, you may not have anything, but you kind of still have to do it. You still have to do it, you know? We can't be a transition team forever. You know, if that's not what we want in the long term to sustain control, pressure, and win, then we need to change. And you know, and it's like this. I mean, when you look at the numbers overall, there was good spells of control, but in the first half, it was way too back and forth leading to their goal, even though it came off of a set piece. It was way too back and forth. And that whole movement came from a rushed pass in that ended up going back Bournemouth's way, regardless of the free kick and a set piece, whether they were one, I don't know. But that all came from that. The second goal on a penalty came from a turnover from the midfield. The third goal came from a turnover from the midfield. It all comes from losing the ball. And should there be some better defending moments? Absolutely. But when you open the game up to chaos, then that's what you get, is chaos. And that's what I saw in a lot of instances. You know, overall, you know, we were the better side in terms of chances and all of that. But there was a lot of inefficiencies and a lot of waste where, you know, our chances are coming through traffic. Theirs are coming through turnovers and, you know, where they're getting deep dribble penetration and things like that off of bad moments. When you look at it, I think that Ugarte coming off was a big mistake. He's on a yellow. Played 3 games in a row, so I understand why. But as Bruno dropped deep, it made it way worse. You could see immediately how much worse it got. And that's an issue. But when you look at like our average position, you can see, I mean, this is too much. This is because Dallo, he switched sides in the half. But, you know, here, I'm just going to show it. First of all, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots from outside the box, just cannoning it for nothing. Okay. 74% passing. That means 18 times losing the ball and 28 possessions lost. That means that Bruno Fernandes lost the ball 46 times. Okay. He got on the ball 96 times. Okay. That means every time Bruno gets the ball, half the time he's giving it to the opposition. You realize that? That's not acceptable. That doesn't work. And as I said, my problem is that he's drifting everywhere to get on the ball. Look at the touches compared to the other players. 96. Amad Diallo got 68. Ugarte got 35, and you can see only 3 times losing the ball with 88% passing. Kabi, I think, had a bad game, but look what a bad game is for Kabi. 76 touches, 81% passing, and 20. So too many turnovers. Why did Kabi have a bad game? Because he turned the ball over. He was sloppy in possession. I don't know why this gets accepted for Bruno. It was a huge problem today. Huge problem today. It puts us, it takes us out of this calm, controlled way of playing that we've been trying to build towards. And I really hope it doesn't become a blind spot because it was a serious problem for me. Big problem, and I think the biggest on the day. It sets the tone for the rest of the team to just start rushing. Everything is fast, and lacking control. And then you give up a goal, and then you need to go faster, and then you give up a goal, and you need to go faster. And it all just went back to the chaos that we've seen before. Yeah, I don't like it. And it's something that's going to have to break before it gets better. We've seen games since Amram come in where Bruno has been purposefully calm. But if you look at our best games, our best wins so far, our best control, our best moments, our best actions, it wasn't Bruno hero ball, creating chances. It wasn't. Most of it came through good pressing, settled possession and control, and someone like Amad Diallo creating some good moments. And a few easy goals, It's not been... The hero ball is the thing that can sometimes bail us out from the problems the hero ball creates. It has to change. It has to change. We cannot keep doing this because we will never climb up to where we need to be. We've been using this as a crutch, and it's like... It's a credit to Bruno because he's been an incredible player who's created and done so much for us. And we've built a team on that basis. But this is why Ten Hag didn't work. He pushed the whole team towards this chaos, towards playing basketball, towards, playing into that. And so did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as well. But we know that's not what Amorim wants. Look at how we've played, how we've started to control possession, how we've started to build up, how we started to be calm and not wasteful. The more wasteful we are, the more chances we concede, the more chaos it creates, and the more defensive frailties show up. Look at City. All the same players, a lot of them, and they're conceding a bunch of goals and shit now. When they stop being in control, it happens. It's all about that control. Every team is bad. The top teams are bad when they start giving the ball away cheaply and putting their defense under pressure. Like, small teams are often better defensively than big teams, but big teams are so much better in possession and in control that they don't have to do as much defending, right? You don't see City doing as much defending as a bottom half team. If they did, they'd be conceding a lot of goals. Same with us, same with any good team. It's really hard to get through this point of that we have to go a little bit backwards to go forwards. But we've been using this crutch for so long. We've got to stop. We have to stop funneling everything through Bruno Fernandes. We have to. It's not working. It's not working at all. It would be better to continue to be in control and not create a ton of chances, but build up that control and continue to build that control and possession that we've been building under Amorim. And then continue to add in those attacking patterns. That's the right way. Today was chaos. It was a reversion to type of rushing through the game in an attempt to score. And I know why it happens, because it's like if you're walking with a crutch, you got to throw the crutch away at some point, and you might struggle and move slow and all of that. You've been walking on a crutch for 5 years. You haven't built up the muscles in your legs, but you need to run. You've got to, at some point, get rid of that crutch. I'm not saying sell Bruno. I'm saying you have to stop using the crutch in that way and build up the strength to run. And that's what we're not doing. And I compare it to basketball. You've seen it with players. You've got these incredible players, Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, all that, for Americans and such who watch basketball, that are good isolation players that, they'll do so much for you. And they'll raise the bar on the bottom, and they'll make you a team that is competitive-ish, but not at the top level. They make you a good team, but never a great team, because it's so reliant on one individual just making moments than it is creativity. And I get it. People always say he's the only one who creates something on a team. That's the problem. That doesn't work. There's no team in football that wins like that. That's not football. And obviously we need signings to solve this. We need creativity from the wingbacks. Since Amad has stopped playing at right wingback, we're not getting it anymore. That's an issue. And that's because the forwards aren't producing. So yeah, we need some players to solve this. But we don't need everything to funnel through this 10. We need a couple more. We need another runner and a goal scorer. I actually thought Højlund and Garnacho did a lot better, creating more pattern chances, even though the finish wasn't there. Garnacho, but they actually did quite well there. And I thought we looked better with those two causing trouble for the defense, And it was the same against Tottenham with them on, was like, I just didn't see a threat, with that front three. We need our front three to be threatening. Ahmad is threatening. Højlund can be threatening. You know, unfortunately, a good Rashford would be perfect in the front three to threaten defenders, but we don't have that. We don't need a 10 funneling everything through there, and it's not the way Sporting played either, and I don't want to see Emre move away from it. So it's really, really standing out for me today, because now that we're not playing with like a Rashford in there, and Garnacho's off the bench too, it's becoming more and more problematic, because we were better with one of them on, frankly. In general, we were better with one of them on, even though they weren't playing well, because it was a better balance of spreading out the creativity and the control through the whole team, not funneling it all through 110 who's drifting all over the place. It does my head in, and I'm sorry to keep ranting about it, but when we get in the final third, and instead of running into the box, Bruno's drifting around to babysit each player and get on the ball, because that's what he does. And then if we want to talk about the corners, there was about 13 corners, 2 from Ahmad that were great, and about 10 or 11 from Bruno. They're just terrible. They don't beat the first man. It's a problem. The efficiency is a problem. We cannot continue to rely on this high volume Bruno football, because these are the games that happen in playing this way. These are the games that happen and will continue to happen until we settle in and build up. I would rather we see a boring game where we control the ball, build up possession, don't lose it, struggle to create some chances, but don't give it away. And, you know, all of that, than this. And win or draw 1-1 or 0-0 or 1-0. I'd much rather see that at this stage that we're at than continuing to constantly give the ball away and concede chances and have the game turn to ugly chaos. I don't care. I'm fine. We need to build up the proper way, and that's, I have a big problem with it. It's very frustrating, because that's not progress. You know, Amarim himself said it. Trying to just do it to win now will be in the same spot in a year. That today was a waste of time. We didn't gain anything from this game. Against Tottenham, I actually think we did. Against City, we did. Against some of the games that we lost, you know, I thought we gained something from it. You know, we learned something from it. We progressed in the way that we were playing, even when we didn't win. Today was the first one where I thought it was a complete waste of time. We didn't learn anything today. We didn't gain anything today. We didn't even try to play the way we want to play today. It was just chaos. That isn't going to get us anywhere. Maybe Amarim did learn something today, mind you, but we didn't. The team didn't. The squad didn't. We did not progress today. And that's all that matters to me, is that, are we progressing? Are we doing more and more of what we want? Today, no. And that's a huge problem. It's a waste of time. They might as well have not showed up and just taken a 3-0 concession, because we didn't learn anything today as a team. And those are the games that, to me, you cannot afford right now, because it's going to be a long road to building back to a top team and that top style, and this isn't it. And so that's got to change. And I'm not saying Bruno's the only bad performer today. There was a number of them. And some of the defending was just shit again as well. The penalty by Mazraoui is so unnecessary. But a lot of it comes from the chaos that enters the game state. And the inability. We did not see we saw very much smaller moments of calm possession, building up, getting into their half, settling in, winning the ball back high, and continuing to keep the pressure on. And the substitution of Ugarte, though I think was necessary, accentuated it. You know, as Bruno got on it more, it actually got a lot worse. It got a lot worse. And I hope Amarim can see it, because it is a tough thing to deal with when you're under the pressures at United, which is that it's easy to fall back into, well, we got to do something to create chances. Don't fall into that trap. Obviously, we need signings in January. They gotta pull their finger out of their ass on this and do something, because we need wing backs. If we had proper creativity from the left wing back, that would help a lot. If we had a really good left wing back, and by the way, I thought Kirkes was exceptional today, defending as well. One of the few players I saw who regularly kept up with Ahmad on the run. But if we had a proper left wing back today, to where, you know, you could get Mazraoui on the right wing back potentially, or Ahmad out there again, and you have good creativity from both sides, it would help. It would help a lot. It would help a lot with not having to do that and not forcing everything through the middle and losing it in these dangerous areas. Because I didn't see like any wingback play today at all. None. It was like completely non-existent. It was so minimal. Not at all like we're used to seeing. You know, there were games when the wingbacks, you know, as we saw us working into our patterns, where the wingbacks had the most touches on the team. I did not see that today. We were not getting the ball into the wide areas well and holding it and controlling it there. You know, we've had better games when the wingbacks and center backs have the ball more, and we're just settling, and the ball is being spread through the team. Today was not it. Today was, like I said, today was a step backwards, or at least just a nothing. So that's got to improve, and it's, again, I say this is an issue where it's been coached in for so long, so it can seem like it's just constantly going in on Bruno, but he's sort of the symptom of the main symptom of this problem, because when it happens, everything runs through him. And I've seen him be calmer in a few games where we've won, and it hasn't been his heroicness that has created those chances and created those goals. And we need to see that more often. We are a better team when it's spread out and not all funneling through that. So that's there's individual mistakes and things like that show up constantly. There is, but today was not one of those. There's games where we've been better on XG, and I felt, yeah, we just got unlucky. We've conceded on low percentage chances. Today wasn't that. I don't think, even though we won on XG today, if you watch it, not a good game. We were not in control. The game state was bad, you know, and it was out of control. It was chaotic. And so, sure, we got a few better chances than the opposition. That doesn't mean we were better today. I think we were a little bit better, but too chaotic and created the problems for ourselves. I did not feel that way about some of the games where we had more XG and we just didn't win and we were just conceding, but today was. Today, I think the stats do not match in that respect, because a lot of it came through chaos. Even though I think we should have scored a couple of goals, the goals we gave up were, you know, a result of our own undoing, for sure. So apologies if it's too ranty, and I'm sorry if you disagree, but I think it's a type of thing. We have to break this pattern, and we have to be willing to not have this high volume creativity, but become very efficient and make easy goals and build back up into that, but focus more on the control and possession still, because we're not there yet. We're not at the level where you start trying to, you know, go for it in attack, where we need to continue to control games and build up and get better and sort the set pieces out too. So that's what I've got. Thanks for watching today. Merry Christmas to you all. Happy holidays. Enjoy all of that. I'll be back with some videos during this week. I'm not sure exactly what days and all of that yet, but I will be doing them. And yes, I hope to see you all later, and we'll be back Thursday, hopefully, with some changes and improvements, because today was a waste, but it is what it is. Have a good holidays. Hope you're all well, and see you later.